no fear, only fight. I'm fearless, it's only right. My head's up, I stay strong, forever young, may you live long. With perseverance, hold on and stand tall. Never back down with my back against.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the After Party Hangover. I am your host, Mangria Fueled, and this is a show that talks about a show that talks about a show. Today's guests, that's right, plural. We have the APPW Tag Team of the Year. We got old Zankchris with us, and everybody's favorite moral MatthewJH 138. Gentlemen, how have you been since the last we have spoken?
Been good. I've been all right. I haven't had too many problems. Trying to keep up with all the wrestling that's going on and just checking out that, and then still checking out as many horror movies as I can pretty much all the time. So that's what I've been doing.
JH, how's life?
Nothing, just working, kids, falling asleep through wrestling. Still. I watched last night's and in like 3 different parts today. It was so bad.
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber. It was pretty damn good. I like that pay-per-view. The ending match, very dramatic, everything we've been waiting for. Of course, Sammy wasn't gonna win. Sorry, Cynic. But yeah, Sammy was not gonna win. But I mean, it was a great effort. I know all the guys wanted to get on and talk about it last night, but I was uploading Sunday Night Skeet, so I had other things to do. Plus, I got another podcast to do after this. Gentlemen, since I know Chris Zank is a little stretched for time here, we're gonna flip things upside down, because I was gonna talk about the episode first and then drop something on you guys, but I'm just gonna drop something on you guys now. I'm gonna try and do a crumb offs on every hangover now, and since I have you two here, all 3 of us are involved in a separate chat called SRAP Horror. So we are about to do the horror movie crumb offs.
Man.
And trust me, was it fucking difficult to pick 8 movies out of the vast, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Super hard, yeah.
It was
There's so many.
Sophie's choice of movies here, but I do have.
And I think we like all different genres of movies too.
Yeah.
Of horror movies.
True. Okay, the first round, gentlemen, and there's 3 of us, so there will be a winner, a definite winner. That's why I wanted the 3 of us on here together. Sure. We're gonna put the Friday the 13th franchise versus the Halloween franchise.
Oh, that's brutal.
Easy.
That's your finale right there. You don't need anything else. I mean, that's your finale.
Well, since JH already has his answer, JH, what is your vote?
Well, let's see now, because it's the crumb offs, right? We're just taking the base as a whole franchise.
Basically, the franchise or your favorite part of that franchise. For me, like I said, it's so difficult. It's so damn difficult.
Yeah.
I love part 7. Friday the 13th 7 is cheesy, but I mean, we know what we're in for. Yeah. I grew up on Jason. I love Friday the 13th part 7. I love it. So that's what I'm basing mine on, against the first Halloween. That's what I'm thinking. Halloween 1.
Okay.
So
we're not just doing the whole franchise.
Well,
we're doing the whole franchise. That's different.
Well, I mean,
Halloween's got some clunkers.
We can, because this is our made up bracket. There basically are no rules. We can do whatever we want. Like when you see Jason up against Michael Myers, because that's what this really is about.
Okay.
Who's coming out the winner, JH? Who got your vote?
See, you like Jason 7. To me, Jason X, for all the wrong reasons, is the best. It is so stupid. It is. There's a part when they got the android girl and he's fixing her nipple, and the spaceship hits a bump. How does a spaceship hit a bump and the nipple falls off? That is the dumbest thing. But Jesus, Jason all the way. Jason wins on that one for me. Yeah,
this might be a clean sweep, gentlemen. Because
Jason Voorhees.
Friday the 13th.
All I gotta say is Halloween Ends. Takes the whole franchise for me, pretty much.
Friday the 13th.
Halloween Ends sucks.
Moves on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something that's blasphemy. I think Halloween's overrated. Anyway,
Oh,
up
Halloween 3 is
next,
the best.
I liked Halloween 3 a lot, actually.
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
seen, never seen it.
It's the one with the mask. Michael's not even in it, pretty much.
Yeah.
The whole thing, not in it at all.
Season of the Witch, right?
Yeah.
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 It's like an anthology type movie where all the
Yeah.
different stories go into one. It's a different take.
Oh,
It's pretty. It's like Trick or Treat, where they
yeah,
have
that's what I
like
was just
all
gonna
these
say.
different things that lean up to the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Deals with masks that these kids get and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So there's 3 masks. There's a skull, there's a witch, and there's a pumpkin mask.
Pumpkin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which came
Oh,
back
that
in
almost
Halloween.
counts.
Kills.
Kills. Kills. Yeah.
Okay,
That
gentlemen.
almost sounds familiar to the barn movie you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get
If
more.
that's the right barn.
Yep.
It's only going to get more difficult from here.
Oh,
Sure.
that was hard.
We have the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise versus perhaps the most controversial movie of our parents' generation, The Exorcist.
That's so hard. The other ones that are heavy hitters that you're pulling out here, these are heavy hitters. Warriors is so good.
Freddy always creeped me the fuck out, and the fact that even the Simpsons episode where Willie portrayed Freddy, even that shit creeped me out. Like I was just fucking creeped out altogether with Freddy Krueger. The Exorcist, I did not see it when I was young. I saw it in my 20s, so I laughed throughout. Did not think any of it was scary. I appreciate it. I appreciate, what they could do back then. So, respect to The Exorcist. You got to go Freddy Krueger. I'm going Nightmare on Elm Street takes this one. So that's 1 vote for Freddy. Who's
Ready?
Ready? I'll talk my dispute and then I will give my vote. I can admire Exorcist 1. Exorcist 2, really not the greatest movie. I didn't like it at all. Exorcist 3, another good movie. So there's 2 out of the 3 that are really good there. Plus, Exorcist has spawned so many exorcism movies. There's been so many Exorcist knockoffs in the recent years. There recently was one called Pray for the Devil, I think it was called, and it was okay. It was all right. But it has spawned so many of those type of movies. But you're dealing with an icon here. You're dealing with Freddy Krueger. Kids ran around in Freddy Krueger masks. They had to have it that Halloween. It was the thing to be for that Halloween. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Nightmare on Elm Street. That's it. It wins it right there.
Sorry, JH, your vote doesn't matter. Okay, moving on. No, I was kidding. No.
Wait, I got a question.
I'm just kidding. What
is the best Exorcist spinoff besides Leslie Nielsen's Repossessed?
That's a good one.
Yes,
that is a good one.
Oh, in the blue dress.
It's hard to say because the classics, the original is the best. I like The Rite. I like The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Yeah. That's a good one. There's a couple other ones that are okay, but those are 2 that pop in my head right off the bat. So those 2.
Those are good choices, though.
Yeah.
Well, who got your vote, JH, out of those 2?
Oh, Freddy, absolutely, Freddy. Robert Englund, Freddy, not that other guy.
That knockoff reboot crap was sucked. That one was really bad. Yeah.
So. Man, that's going to be a hard decision once we get to the second bracket. Okay.
Yeah.
Up next, gentlemen, my personal, I think I have a connection to this because the movies came out every October. And I waited every October for this movie to drop because there were so many and I appreciated it. I love a thinking man's horror movie. We are having the entire Saw franchise versus the Dawn of the Dead franchise. That's Day of the Dead. That's fucking Night of the Living Dead. That's all the zombies of the dead versus Saw. JH, you will go first this time. What is your
so all right, so of the Deads, yeah, I didn't even like them. None of them. The new version of the Dawn of the Dead, the newer version's good. The old version with the blue zombies, that's weird. Return of the Living Dead franchise is way better because it was a little funny, but definitely the Saw, absolutely. Because that, like you, every October I went, and that was like a thing. Like that's something to look forward to. You had to go back and study because you had to. nothing was worse when you watched it and you were confused, and then you had to go back and rewatch the last 5 of them to finally
What happened with
understand
Jigsaw
everything.
and stuff? Yeah,
Yeah.
what happened with him?
Since day one, yes. Do you remember when Saw first came out and the promotion for it? Howard Stern on the Howard Stern show.
I don't remember that, but I remember 2004 is when the first movie dropped.
They had an amputation beauty contest to promote the movie Saw. I remember that because I was at the time I was a liquor salesman, so I was on the road all the time. I was like, I can't believe this, and I was like, I got to go see this movie now.
Wasn't Zanka a judge in the amputee?
I'm sure he lined up early.
Missed opportunities.
That's okay. Well, Chris, you get the second vote.
I'm gonna go the opposite flip of the coin, and I'm gonna say the Of the Dead series.
Oh,
I liked Saw. I liked it.
Wow.
But zombies and horror is like peanut butter and jelly. People, it's just how it goes. It's just how it goes, man. Zombies, you have them in the most horror movies. So I'm gonna go Of the Dead. I'll be the lone wolf here. I'll be the lone wolf, so we won't have a clean slate here.
I have the deciding vote.
Yep.
Are you doing this because Batista's in one of them? Isn't Batista in one of those Of the Deads?
Army of the Dead.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a long story. I'll try to keep it short. But zombies. I play Call of Duty. Call of Duty has a zombies, mini game in every Call of Duty. Me and my friends grew up loving zombies. We play zombies. We try to find out who can last the longest against zombies. We've rented every shitty zombie movie you can think of, like Vampires versus Zombies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it is one horrible movie. And then Saw, like I said at the beginning, like I've been waiting every year, and this year it's returning again. This October it's coming back. Even Chris Rock had his own and stuff. So it's basically my personal love versus what I grew up on. Gotta go Saw. I gotta go Saw. I can't. Actually, I love it.
Mr. Chris Zank, I have a question for you since you're a zombie fan.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of a movie called it's got 2 names. It's one of them's called Zombies, and it's also called Wasting Away.
Yep.
It's like
I've heard of it.
You've seen it?
I've
you ever
not
watched
seen it? No, I've not seen it.
It is such an innovative way to shoot a movie. I forget which one it is. Well, like one is it's shot in color and in black and white.
Okay.
And one is it's like teenage kids. They don't realize that they're making ice cream with poison that makes them zombies. And I forget what one of it's in color, one's in half and white or black and white. But it's like one is shot in their perspective where they're like, why is everybody being so weird to us? And then the other perspective is everybody going, oh my God, these zombies are coming after us. And then it keeps going from color to black and white, showing like they just don't feel good and they're asking for help and stuff like that. It's like some weird, dumbass B comedy. Oh, it's so good.
There's so many good ones. There are a lot of good ones. Dead Alive was an awesome zombie movie. If you've never seen it, it's a very old one.
I kick ass for the Lord.
Damn right you do. There's so many good zombies. Yep.
It's a great movie.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many good ones. But I understand. Saw was good too. Saw was very good.
The worst movie of all time was Redneck Zombies. It was a trauma movie. Yeah. Until I saw Poltergeist.
Poltergeist is horrible, but I own Poltergeist, unfortunately.
That caused
I am a huge trauma movie fan too, and yes, that movie did suck.
Yeah.
There's a movie,
I've seen Trauma live on Broadway.
If you guys,
I love Trauma.
If you guys can hunt this down, if you want to torture your friends or yourself, there's a movie called Die, You Zombie Bastards. It is so bad. It's so fucking bad. But it's the perfect movie to watch with your friends.
Yep.
Up next, if you thought the other rounds were difficult, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Just watched it.
Which I think is still the best. Versus JH's personal favorite, The Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, okay.
I will go first and immediately pick John Carpenter's The Thing, because that's one of those movies where they're puppets, they're puppeteers, but that trumps special effects every time. That's why the Oz sequel was so creepy, and I mean that movie creeps me out even to this day. The Thing, like it's hard to watch. That's how good it is.
Right.
But yeah, that movie's fucking awesome. Um, we'll go with JH because I
Yeah.
think I know where he's going.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. I think I even told you this the other day. Blair Witch, hands down. I think it's the greatest horror movie ever made, only because like I know a burn victim with a glove of knives is never gonna come after me. I know a guy with a hockey mask is never gonna come after me, or a guy with a chainsaw or anything like that. But getting locked or lost in the woods in the dark, never mind anything else, that would that would freak me out. Getting lost, turn around, not knowing how to get out and everything like that. And at the time, cell phones, it was like beepers. That's what people had. I think it was 99 that came out.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. And that is when I had just started getting like reunited with my family, and they lived down in Maryland, and they lived near, what was that town? Burkittsville is the real name of the town. They lived like a couple towns over, but we had to drive through it, and there were just cars everywhere, all over the place, going into those woods. It was crazy. Everybody was parked on the side of the road after that opened up. That was the build up to that movie was just like amazing. And then again, maybe it's because like that's when I was like 18, 19 years old when that came out. Whereas when did you're talking about the Kurt Russell thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was still an 80s movie, even though that was a
80s,
remake.
yeah. Yeah.
So we were kids. Like I remember the build up for that. I'll always have that place in my heart for that movie, the Blair Witch Project,
Well,
and the remakes.
I don't want to shit on your argument here, JH, but not only was the sequel an abortion, but the only scary part in that entire movie was when they were in the tent and they saw the hands going on the tent. That was the only thing that creeped me out. The rest of it gave me motion sickness, so I was like, I'm done with this shit. But I digress.
If you slow motion on the Blair Witch, the part three, I guess it is, where the kid, I forget their names, but they leave and then they come back and the girlfriend's freaking out and they have the sticks that are shaped in the people and the person snaps it and the girl folds in half. Mm-hmm. If you watch that in slow motion, that is pretty sick on how she does it. That's pretty crazy. I don't know. I love that movie.
Well,
even that Book of Shadows. It's as embarrassing as it is with that goth girl, but you know, it's still fun.
Chris, you are the
deciding factor. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna say my piece about both of them. JH, I'll give you that one. Blair Witch, mm-hmm. It was a phenomena at the time. It was like the thing. Like they told those actors to stay out of public eye. Like when that movie came out, they didn't want anybody to see those kids at all. So they like had to stay in their homes and like they weren't allowed to be seen or anything because they wanted it to be real. And people really like dug it. Like they really thought it was real. Like they were, like you said, people were looking for them and checking out the forest and stuff because like it really creeped everybody out. But I can agree with Mangria here, and it was like super motion sickness, and there were some scary parts, like when she had the snot bubble coming out of her nose, and she's like, "I'm so scared." That really was legitimately scary. It was like, this is real life. This could really happen. You could be in a forest, go hiking with some friends, get a little drunk, get completely turned around and lost. You couldn't do that movie nowadays with like GPS, but I mean, back in the day, that was like, you could do that because like there were no cell phones. People had, like you said, pagers and stuff like that, you know, but, for the time, it was pretty frightening. The sequels, they were not so great, but they were all right. So, but here's my decision. There is a movie I watch every time it snows bad in Wisconsin. And that movie is The Thing. It snowed here this week, and it snowed 7 inches in one day. 7 inches. I snowblowed 3 times. 3 times. During the breaks between those times, I watched The Thing. So it is John Carpenter's The Thing, because that movie is so phenomenal. It's so good. The special effects, the terror, the parts where all the other like people are accusing each other if you're like okay or if you're one of the things. I mean, it's just the dogs that get ripped apart, the special effects, the blood, the gore, the spider head. I mean, The Thing. And the remake's good too, because the remake's a prequel to The Thing. So actually you could watch those back to back. You could take the newer one, watch that first, and then go back and watch The Thing. And it's just it's like 3 hours of awesome, gory nastiness. But yeah, I love The Thing, so there's my vote.
And the video game is insanely difficult if you've ever played the video game based off of it.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, we're in the semifinals now. This could possibly be the hardest decision all
Possible. Yeah.
Friday the 13th versus Nightmare on Elm Street.
Just have a tie.
I'll go first because
Didn't they make a movie of this?
Yeah, they did.
Freddy versus Jason on the Hangover. Just because he's a personal hero of mine, and putting a teenager in a sleeping bag and beating him up against a tree, I love it. Friday the 13th gets my vote, gentlemen. Jason all the way. It's very debatable, but because of the whole franchises, we put them up together. But they're both kind of cheesy and corny. Freddy has the humor, whereas Jason, he just fucking kills you. I can give you a negative about the Friday the 13th series is that there's always a little girl or a girl that gets the best of Jason. Like, what's this killer that just murdered 80 people just got taken out by a little girl with psychic powers?
Yep.
And then for Nightmare on Elm Street, the way each of those movies have ended, very questionable as well. You remember what was it? Freddy's Dead or Freddy's
Nightmare.
It was the one New Nightmare. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but it was stupid. But yeah, Jason has my heart, and he stabbed it. Okay, Chris.
He was my tag team partner. He's the man. He just doesn't freaking die. He does not die. It's Jason Voorhees all the way. I mean, I love Freddy too, though. And that Freddy vs. Jason, I'll still watch, and I still love that movie. They just beat the crap out of each other for an hour and a half, and that's awesome. Freddy's killer. He's a legend, but it's Jason Voorhees, man, and the machete and the stalking, and so many movies have spawned because of the Friday the 13th series and that genre. So, yeah, Jason all the way.
Jason, yeah. The soundtrack to Freddy versus Jason is good as well.
Yeah, it's a killer soundtrack.
Yeah. JH. I mean, Jason already
doesn't matter.
But what were your personal thoughts about this?
Well, so you got to hand it to the Friday the 13th because they are the ones who kind of like started that slasher franchise thing. Because Texas Chainsaw Massacre didn't really do, which I'm surprised you don't have Leatherface in here.
It only 8.
It was so difficult.
Yeah, you had 8.
I took Paranormal Activity out. I took The Conjuring out. Like I had to. It was hard, man.
Yeah.
Like I have more fun watching the Friday the 13th movies. I'm sorry, not that. The Nightmare on Elm Street movies. The Friday the 13th movies, there's like some that are good, some that are clunkers, some that are just so bad. Like Jason Takes Manhattan is the. How do you take a boat from Crystal Lake?
It just happens. He got a boat. He's good.
Listen, Jay, by the eighth movie, they can't be in the movie.
He also made it to space too, so he made it all the way to space.
Well, we get that because the way the one previous ended and they froze them and all that stuff, and you kind of get that the world ended, but there is no lake that takes you to Manhattan. There isn't, and wherever they filmed, I forget where it is. It's somewhere up in Jersey though. They have like camps now where you can go and like spend a weekend there. It's like adult camps and stuff.
Nice, that's cool.
So, but I would go for the Nightmare on Elm Street, but I understand the Jason thing. It's fine. I did just watch one what was it? Nightmare on Elm Street 4 or no? Friday the 13th 4, where it's not even Jason. I never knew that. There's one where
the first
it's not
one's
Jason.
not Jason.
Yeah,
the first one's
that's
not.
his mom.
Yeah.
And then the second one's him with the potato sack with the one eye.
Right.
But then there's one.
Third one's when he gets the mask.
Like
the third one.
Yeah. Is it the third or the fourth one where it's like the cop or something? I was watching it. I was drinking a lot, but it wasn't Jason. It was somebody else who was acting as Jason.
Oh,
Corey Feldman. Yeah.
Jason Goes to Hell.
It could be that one.
I remember the Corey Feldman one because we had a guy at work that kind of looked like him when he shaved his head and he had the splotches. So we always used to make fun of him. Yeah. I'll accept the Jason. I'll accept it.
Well, gentlemen, we have now the Saw franchise going up against a very iconic John Carpenter's The Thing. And JH, go ahead and wax on your vote.
Okay. All right. So you're only going up. You're going up against like 8 movies against 1.
It's
But
up
if you're talking about that universe, I would go with the Saw because that is just. Can you imagine one guy so mad at the world that he has done all of this all the way around? Just set up everything. Well, number one, who the hell has the time or the money? I know they say he was rich, but who has that much money to build all that stuff?
and
That's just
technically
crazy.
he didn't kill anybody. They had a choice
No,
to make.
no, he's Charles
All
Manson.
the wrong choices.
He's Charles Manson. Charles Manson didn't kill nobody. He just convinced a lot of people to. So, but you know, that to me, I always loved the Saw thing. Is it made, and then again, that's probably because I was around and like more aware of horror movies at the time.
Yeah.
For that,
All right.
I respect the thing because that's a good, but that's one. To me, I think it was Saw 5 that was one of the best besides 2.
Well, that's 1 vote for the Saw franchise, Chris. What say you?
The Thing. It's just The Thing, man. I'm gonna be opposite of this, man. That movie is classic. Yeah. Like if I'm watching a horror movie and it's in Wisconsin weather and there's a snowstorm, it's The Thing. There's nothing else. I mean, there's just now I can admire Saw, but at some points it just kind of got to be almost the same thing. When you get to 4, 5, or 6, it's like, okay, what now? What mechanical weird device is he going to put on somebody's leg or armpit or nipples or whatever? I mean, it's like he's going to kill somebody somehow. And then there were some points where it was like not him in the series. It was like some other people. The girl kind of took it over a little bit, if I remember correctly. But like, I like The Thing so much that I'm not going against it. So I'm going to throw my vote for The Thing.
There you go. There you go.
Now I got to be the deciding.
It's all on you.
I understand what Chris is saying. Like,
they're 2 different types of horror movies. That's the thing.
Big time.
It's a thinking man's horror movie where the victims are actually, they have the potential to survive, but due to human nature and how grody they were, how disgusting people they were, they all died eventually. There's usually one survivor. And then Chris, you said, yeah, Jigsaw wasn't always the guy. It was the girl, and then it was the corrupt detective guy. And then it came back to the first victim who sawed his leg off in the first movie.
Yeah.
Versus a movie so iconic and scary that it affects an adult Mangria still. If we're talking,
could I throw a toss in just as something that popped in my head before you make your decision?
Yes.
Okay. Saw, you always had that opportunity. There was always a reason that you could escape it. Most of the times you didn't and you died. With The Thing, you didn't know if your friend was your foe and your enemy or your friend, and like doing that whole paranoia, like, who's this? Is this guy The Thing? You're testing the bloods because you're not sure if the blood's okay, and you're not sure if like someone's gonna kill you or not kill you. So you didn't even know who the killer was in The Thing, really. It was just there. It was The Thing. Multiple things, but
and if
it also spawned the X-Files episode 2. Kind of.
Yeah.
Which was really good. This is the horror movie crumb off. So horror movie wise, I gotta give it to The Thing because it is
I'm gonna agree with you on that. If it's gonna be one-off movie, there is no one Saw.
And now the Impossible is up next. The final round is Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, our childhood hero, up against an iconic movie, John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm gonna let JH wax on this one.
All right, so Jason X wins. That's it. I haven't voted for The Thing yet, so it would be weird for me to go back. I get it, and I can appreciate it, but it just wasn't my type of movie. And my ex-mother-in-law is a big horror movie fan, and we like that's how like when I first had started dating my ex-wife and everything, we got friendly because like of our appreciation of like the older horror movies, and she always liked to her the thing was still a new movie. She's like 74 now, so but like I like Frankenstein and the little girl, Frankenstein's monster and the little girl. I love like those old movies, so I can
Universal,
appreciate
yeah.
it. Yeah, like the Crawling Eye and the Witch Hunt and all that stuff. Those are all great movies. So I'm gonna personally, for me, I would say Jason wins because
Vincent,
that's like the icon. If we're going horror movie versus horror movie, you can't. Which Jason would it be?
We were saying
Right?
series though.
Yeah, you're saying the Friday the 13th series. If you can take all the good and compress it into one movie compared to The Thing, and The Thing's a good movie, it's just not my thing. I'm going Jason.
Mangria, you want to go next, or should I?
This is gonna hurt him. It's gonna hurt him.
oh man, it's like I said, growing up, I grew up with Jason. I grew up with this guy, and I've had countless nightmares of Jason. And I've been so engulfed in Jason my whole life. My wife knows it. I met Kane Hodder, the guy who plays Jason. He autographed
Yeah.
That's fucking badass.
Jason mask. He put a machete to my neck. So, but again, we're talking horror movie. And honestly, I cannot put one Friday the 13th against how great The Thing was. And it kills me to say this. It does. I mean, the better horror movie is John Carpenter's The Thing. But I love Jason. Jason's my boy. But if we're talking a horror movie crumb off that's going to win and you want to show somebody, hey, you want to get scared, watch this movie. It's going to be
dark.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You bring up some crazy good points, Mangria. It's so crazy because, like, I was just sitting thinking as you were talking, like, I could take the best Friday the 13th movie and put it up against The Thing and say that's a big epic battle there and say I don't know who's going to win there. But then I can also take some of the worst ones of the Friday the 13th series, Manhattan maybe, and say The Thing dominates it and just crushes it and destroys it. But if I'm taking Jason Voorhees against The Thing, who's my favorite? I'm going to have to go, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to go. No, I'm going to love to say it. I hate to say it. I dressed up as Jason Voorhees for Halloween. He is my favorite. It is Friday the 13th. It is my favorite horror series. It's my favorite horror series. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I appreciate it. Of course, this was almost an impossible fucking decision to make.
Yeah.
I feel terrible, but I stand by my answer. I still love Jason. But yeah, that was fucking difficult.
You could do a 64 bracket of like.
Yeah,
It could have been. But I know.
I was watching the Elimination Chamber yesterday, and it dawned on me I haven't seen this movie in a while, and I forgot how much I loved it. The Ring too.
Yeah.
But what was that girl's name?
Oh, the girls.
Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross looks like the Ring girl. If she's
a horror girl, yeah.
Her hair's all nappy and everything. That's the first thing I always think of is how dirty and weird her hair is. It always reminds me of the girl coming out of the well in The Ring.
Well, I'm so glad she's back to that rather than the superhero gimmick, man. That just wasn't working for her. Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Almost
the Grudge. The Grudge is another the first Grudge was pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, how much time you got left?
I got a little bit left. I got about 20 more minutes at least.
Well, let's dive right into SRAP episode 160, Mean Gene Strokerland. Happy Black History Month, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Zenka talks about he used to have Topps baseball cards when he was growing up. I collected Fleer baseball cards, and I was into baseball cards for a while. I still have them, actually. I don't know if they're worth anything. I doubt it, but were you guys into collecting any type of sports cards, trading cards back in the day?
I had some basketball cards because I used to be back in the Chicago Bulls when I lived in Illinois, but like I wasn't that big of an avid collector. I wouldn't even know where they were. They're probably in the attic of my parents' house somewhere right now. But yeah, so I think it was mostly me collecting like sports basketball cards. I would say they were probably tops. I don't think they were Fleer, but yeah.
JH?
Ooh. I did. My brother did a lot. Who is Ricky Henderson a baseball player? I
He
don't
was
follow
on the A's,
baseball.
Oakland A's.
Okay, that's him. So I fed his rookie card to a rabbit
Oh
when I
my!
was a kid. Yeah, my brother still reminds me of that, and I can never remember his name. But he tells me now. He's like, that was worth thousands of dollars. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I never really was like a specific card collector. But I was I kind of am. But I used to be like an obsessive Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So I still have some of them that I've collected over the years. I think I have like a Yammer Yager rookie card still. I hope I still do, but it's probably worth like $3 at this point.
Well,
Like Jake said, they're not really worth anything anymore.
Well, if the rabbit shit on it, yeah, possibly.
Well, that's the Ricky Henderson thing. Yeah, and it killed the rabbit too. So
the
it was
guys,
a whole ordeal.
the guys are doing this new format now. I really enjoy it, where they sprinkle in the questions during the episode, which gives it more time, which I really appreciate. They got to Cesar's question about condom flavors, rum and Coke. I think alcohol flavored condoms is a great idea. Well, what do you guys think?
If you're already drunk from coming home from the bar and then you use one, it's not so bad. Just more booze.
I'm sober enough.
Well,
Give me the condom.
Yeah.
What do you care what the flavor of the condom is?
That's true.
That is true.
That's the first thing that came in my head. I'm like, why do you care what the flavor of the condom is? But
well, if she does blow you and then you make out with her afterwards, maybe. But other than that, plus that girl.
You get drunk enough. You get drunk enough. You don't care that you're making out with a girl that smokes. So that's just my experience.
I've never kissed a woman who smoked. I don't know what that experience is, but I can imagine it's quite unpleasant.
Like I said, if you're drinking, doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
If you're smoking weed, that's the cool thing. You're smoking weed, then you pass it to the other. Yeah.
Well, that little sneaky asshole Jake went all Clint Eastwood on Zanka and wore armor because he knew we were all gonna hashtag chop Jake for this episode. Regardless if Zanka went into the fucking chop shop or not. They went into Royal Rumble review. Zanka said Cody should come out in a Triple H leather jacket instead of a 3-piece suit because he looks like he's about to talk about climate change. The LOL line of the night was Zanka describing what they should do with Bray Wyatt. He said to put him in all kinds of gimmick matches, and the line is, put him in as many fucking Pokemon and a cell matches as you want. That made me burst out loud laughing. But gentlemen, well, Chris, I think me and you could be simpatico on Bray Wyatt, whereas he's more of a character, more of a horror movie character that we're fans of. He might not reinvent the wheel when he's in the ring.
No.
But his ideas, like he's such a great thinker. He's a genius when it comes to creating concepts and characters. That's why I'm a huge fan of him. Like Cesar would shit all over him because of his nose selling when he was a Fiend. But that was a portrayal of a character.
Right.
He needs to make it believable that this fucker's unstoppable, so he's gonna be like a Jason Voorhees type. But in your opinion, tell me what you think about Bray Wyatt and his choices he's made in his career.
Bray Wyatt is, like you just said, he's like a character. He is like one of those guys that comes up with these crazy, wild ideas. The wild ideas have to key in with the matchup, though, and I'll explain why. This specific match, that Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, which was cool looking, it was fine, it was kind of neat, and it was okay, and LA Knight had that cool thing. The end part of that match killed the whole vibe for that match for me, because that's all I think about with LA Knight now, is when he was on that little platform area, And then they had the other guy jump off, Uncle Howdy and stuff like that, and he landed on him. And that looked, from the angle they had, it looked okay, but he had to be safe about it. And then there's all these videos that popped up of people recording it from other angles, and it just killed it because he didn't even touch him. Like, the view they had was okay from the camera angle, but then you see these fan videos of it where he doesn't even touch the guy, and it's like, so Bray Wyatt can do the best he can for that, but he's got to be unique enough to stand out and put on a good match. Like yesterday's match with Sammy, amazing. It told the story of a long built storyline for Sammy, but the match was pretty damn good too. Like, they beat the crap out of each other, I felt, in that match. If you watch Sammy's chest after that match, he got that huge cut on the chest there because he tried to dive through the turnbuckle. I mean, that was a hell of a match. Bray needs that kind of a match to just put himself on the star of, like, okay, I can do this character stuff, but I need a hell of a match to do it too. He's just got to have an opponent that he can do it with that can match his style. But he's definitely more of a character than a wrestler, in my opinion.
You know what they should have did in that fucking Mountain Dew shit? When Uncle Howdy jumped off the top, right before he hit, they should have cut the lights. They should have cut the lights and had the fire go off.
Yeah. I think so no one could see anything. That would have been way better because those videos came out. I'm like, well, he didn't even touch him. I'm like, that just killed it for me, you know. And it was a decent match before all the colors and the lights and the, you know, the black light stuff.
If Uncle Howdy knew he was going to miss him completely, right when he was about to hit the elbow, I would have just stretched my arm out. Just stretch something out. Your body actually comes in contact with him at least. But JH, what were your thoughts on Bray Wyatt and his characters?
So, all right. So I like Bray Wyatt. But he's a character. Even when with the Wyatts, it was always what's that guy's name? The guy that died.
Oh, Brody.
Yeah.
Mr. Brody Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the worker of that faction that made any match good. And like now, when it's just him,
we don't have that. Yeah,
you don't have that. You have all these big gimmicks, and that's what they need. Because even during that Mountain Dew match, you saw that like there was something where they were like on the announce table and the wall, and they completely flubbed the move there too. And with the way the cameras are, even in the dark, it doesn't look as apparent. But like I was sitting there watching it, I was like, okay, this is why we're doing this. He doesn't wrestle that much anymore. He hasn't really been in it in a while. What's it been, almost 2 years that he's really done anything? A year,
he's
year
come
and a half?
back. He hasn't done many major matches. I mean, like,
he hasn't
in
really
the
done
ring
anything.
time, he's not done much since he's come back. He comes out with his lantern. He talks to the crowd. I don't like this new, like, sentimental. I like him more as a heel than a babyface too, and he's definitely playing this face role right now, where he was sorry for what he's done in the past, and blah 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 blah. Then Uncle Howdy came out and said, "Oh, accept your fate and who you are," and they really got to do something. Like, they got to energize him something. I don't know what they're going to do for him for Mania. Are they really going to put him up against Brock Lesnar and like Bobby Lashley?
I was just gonna say, old Bray Wyatt said, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, whoever comes out on top, you better run. And then we saw what happened with Brock kicking him in the dick. So, I mean, I would have rather have seen Brock take on Gunther. That would have been great.
Yes.
But I hearing JH say that he is a fan of Bray Wyatt, it's gonna be hard for JH to keep his hands off himself when WrestleMania comes and it's Brock versus Bray. He's gonna be awake for that match.
You know, and eventually Brock's going to come out and he's not going to be the fan favorite anymore. And I swear to God, I hope it is that he just walks out and he's like clean shaven with that stupid little haircut he has. Because like ponytail, his little ponytail and the beard, that's like face Brock and it's fun and all that stuff. But like, I want him to one day just come out and just be like, all right, this is business now. Completely shaven, come back like the old like street killer Brock. That would be like, I think he's still great. And I like the fact, you know, people don't think about this that much. Everybody shits on him and everything, but he puts guys over. He puts small guys over and makes them look strong. He does it all the time. He did it with like AJ Styles. He did it with Finn Balor.
Yep, Finn was a hell of a match. Yeah,
like he should be able to twist Finn like a pretzel. Like he probably takes dumps bigger than Finn, but he made him look phenomenal. He made him look tough. He made him look like he was the guy who was the first Universal Champion, you know. And with the Bobby Lashley thing, that's Bobby. Like Brock doesn't give a crap. Bobby still like works with the company and is there all the time and like puts his time in. And he made Bobby look great. I mean, Bobby made himself look great too. But you know, that's I don't know. I love Brock. So.
Well, let me tell you the problem. Let me tell you the problem with Brock Lesnar and why I think everyone turned on him is because when he had the Universal title, he showed up 3 times a year.
Yep.
And people are like, we need a title. Where is this guy? He's making millions of dollars banging Sable at home and then killing some deer and skinning them.
Yep.
Rather than being there and being the champ. I think that's why people mainly turned on him. I mean, because throughout his career, when you hear his music, you're like, oh shit, someone's getting killed. And that was good. But then he abused the Universal title, and you know, him and Vince are like this. And then you remember when he just showed up to Money in the Bank? He wasn't even in the fucking match.
Nope.
Like
that was amazing. That was
everyone
amazing.
was killing each other in the ring. Ricochet was at the top of the ladder. He could have grabbed the briefcase and won, but he's like stupefied, looking like, what? It's Brock Lesnar. He comes out, he wins the match, wasn't in the match, so that didn't do him any favors. But it took.
He was too busy watching the camera guy get murdered by that ladder he pushed to the side.
It took a while. But now fans love Brock. Brock is cool now again because he's having fun and we can see it.
Yeah.
He's like you said, he's putting people over. He's good now, but I digress. Next, this is Royal Rumble, so this is a little dated. They play the intro to China porn instead of Alexa versus Bianca because it was terrible. Hence the name of this episode, Mean Gene Strokerland. I thought I was being nice by leaving Chop Jake because I figured, Chop Jake's arm, because I figured Zanka equated the Royal Rumble finish. Oh, no, wait. No, okay. I thought I was being nice by putting Chop Jake's arm because I thought by this point in the podcast, everybody put Chop Jake and Jake's chest would look like fucking Sammy's from last night. But the fact that I put Chop Jake's arm, not knowing he was wearing fucking chest armor, was brilliant. So he did get a chop without the armor. So fuck you, Jake.
Right. Fuck that armor.
Zanka, what were you gonna say, Jades?
No, I agree with you. But then again, I don't know, man. Am I the only one that says that when you hear these, it sounds like they're doing this? Can we stop saying that? I don't think he's sitting there chopping him. Listen.
Oh man, when they see you in person, Jay, they're gonna light your ass up.
If we ever all got in a person, it's just gonna be one huge chop drinking fest. Is what it's gonna be. Everybody will be beat red on their chests and drunker than a skunk tomorrow. That'll be crazy if we ever all meet.
I don't think any of us are gonna remember that night.
Yeah.
Zanka equated the Royal Rumble finish to the feeling.
Cesar will be taking video lives or IG lives of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So. Zanka equated the Royal Rumble finish to the feeling of right before you come. He says this is the best storyline he has ever seen. And I mean, that is saying something because we've all been watching wrestling for 30 plus years. I think it's the second best story because this is a 2-year story with Roman and the Bloodline.
Yeah.
My favorite story of all time, the rivalry between Austin and The Rock, because it started at WrestleMania 15. It ended at WrestleMania 19. That is a long time. And they fought plenty of times. That's my favorite storyline and rivalry of all time. But do you guys agree? Do you think the Bloodline is the best story they've ever done in WWE, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's been the best modern storyline they've done for so long. I watched that match yesterday, and I was just like, "This is amazing. Like they did it so well, and to have everybody come out and everybody was there and everybody was a part of it. And I was like kind of bummed, but at the same point, I kept thinking Sammy could win. I was like, he could, even though I was like, I knew it wasn't going to happen. I was still pulling for him the whole entire time. I mean, they gave Sammy a great run this time with it, and it was amazing too, seeing his wife there and she's screaming at him to get up, and I think it was a killer thing. And then Roman going over and harassing her. I mean, Roman was killer in this match. I got to give it to him. He played it up really well. I think the whole Bloodline storyline's been good. I'm sorry to say it, I'm more excited about that than I am about Cody. Like, okay, Cody came back. Cody's got to get his lifelong dream of always wanting that championship. Cool. But you went off to AEW and you smashed a throne with a hammer and you were declaring war on WWE. A couple of years later, after AEW turned on you, you jumped ship and you jumped right back to WWE. You know what I mean? Like, if things were better in AEW and fans loved you over there, maybe you might have stayed. But really, you just went where the money went. And it's not as exciting of a story to me as the Bloodline story.
JH, do you agree?
Well, yes. In the modern era, this is probably the best storyline ever. Like I remember when Macho Man and Hulk Hogan broke up, the Mega Powers stopped. But then again, you weren't getting that every week like you do here. Mm-hmm. And just think about the content that they've been doing with the Bloodline for so long now. When it's, you have weekly programming, every pay-per-view. Then they're doing Instagram posts about it and TikTok posts about it. And there's so much content about it, but every week you're still looking at it, and every week you're still dumbfounded and wondering and questioning about it. Even my uncle lives down in Georgia. I see him once every 2 or 3 years. We were texting about it, how are they going to finish this? So for people who always say that they don't do long-term booking, and they weren't for a while, here's your answer to that. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Whoever is in charge of making this story, creating this story, give them, after this is over, give them a raise and give them somebody else. Because you remember 9 months ago, Sami Zayn was the guy who lost to Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn wasn't WrestleMania caliber main eventer like he is now. So for them to take the Sami of 9 months ago to where he is now, it's fucking phenomenal. So gentlemen, they got to Bretsky's question, and I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna ask if you guys know what Bretsky is trying to say, or what he's referencing.
Can I ask you one thing first?
Yes. Can
you read it? I'll be back in about 20 seconds, but I'm still going to be connected to it.
Okay, make sure
I just have to step away for a second. Okay. I'll be here in a second. I can hear you and everything. I just got to run into the next room really quick.
Okay, I'll read it right now.
Go for it. Yes, I'll hear you.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did
you know what that is, Chris?
I've heard of it before, but it sounds like a bunch of gibberish to me. I think it's something, but I can't recall what it is. No.
It was extremely familiar, and I was like, this is a song.
I think it's a song, yeah.
This is a song. What song is this from? What is this from? And it's a song that's been used on movie previews almost to death. Well, I gotta ask JH if he can hear me.
I can hear you.
What did that sound like?
To be honest with you, I listened to the show twice and I don't even remember this at all. But I don't know that song. It does sound like a song though.
It's a song from the Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime. I could play it for you guys, but then this episode would get pulled right down. So if you want to go and check it out yourself,
Google it later.
It's a part of that song. You'll know it once you hear it. It's a token 80s song, but I knew where he was going with that, but I knew nobody was going to get that. It just sounded so familiar. Hashtag Jake's parents are swingers is now going to be the new hashtag, thanks to Jake shooting himself in the foot.
Mhm.
And that's it, gentlemen. That was the episode. It was a fun episode. We got the WrestleMania SRAPs coming up. But until then, JH, any closing thoughts on this episode that you can think of or remember?
No, not particularly. I do like the name. That was pretty funny. That was pretty original.
That's
And
pretty funny.
I mean, outside of Zank, I'm probably, well, I don't know if anybody else, but I actually did watch that porno he was talking about. And I did watch that like years ago when it came out. So yeah, it is, if any, watch it. Because even the guy's wearing like a wig, like a bald wig, to be like Mean Gene. And it's everybody's getting costumes and everything. It's the dumbest thing, but it's hilarious.
I thought he was talking about One Night in China. So when he
No,
said
she made a couple. So
when he said I'm going to play the beginning of the China porn, I was like, with X-Pac talking? So then he played this, and it was hella funny. I haven't seen this one, but
oh, it's bad. It's so bad. It is bad. It's like a trauma movie. It's bad. It's good.
oh, forget it. Then I'm not watching that.
Yeah,
Chris,
oh, it's good.
Chris, any
No.
final thoughts on
The
this?
guys are killing it when they do this stuff. Except for Jake sneaking in that armor. That's garbage.
Disrespect.
No disrespect.
Who opens up 200 packs of Pokemon cards? Come on, really? 200 packs of Pokemon cards?
Well,
I missed the boat on it. I don't know what Pokemon is. My brother was depressed years ago, and I downloaded that Go app that they had where you walk around to like hang out with them and stuff. But I just don't understand what. I don't understand it at all.
well, I am guilty.
That's beyond my generation.
I'm guilty of playing Pokemon Go myself. Thanks to my wife. But as you can see, I'm not doing much walking. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time as always. JH, you want people to follow you on Twitter? You say your tag, Chris.
Sure, yeah. Let's see, Instagram, Suburban Dad 732. Let's do that one.
The dad
I decided this week. Yes, this week I'm going to actively start trying to build followers, which I have never really done before. And now I'm going to harass Diamond Dallas Page until he starts sharing me. That's the thing.
Chris, you want to give a shout out to Jason Voorhees or any?
Yeah, shout out to Jason Voorhees. Shout out to all horror movies. I got a Letterboxd account that I do all my horror movies on. I rate most movies that I watch, and I try and watch as many movies as I can. If you go to Letterboxd, BOXD.com, and then you look up Big BIGZNAK, that's me, and I try and rate as many horror movies as I can. I think I got somewhere like over 600 last year, something like that, 500 last year. I got a whole bunch. I try and watch couple horror movies each week and rate them. That's what I do all the time.
He is the encyclopedia of horror movies.
Yeah,
he knows what he's
very
talking.
impressive.
But well, like I said, gentlemen, thank you. Thank you to all who listen and watch everything on Mangria Fuel's YouTube page. Me. There'll be a new tripod coming out later. Steel Row After Party podcast. They changed it a few times. At Skip Damn Well, if you want to follow Jake, he's one half of the host. And at Steel Row After Party on Instagram is Zanka, the main host. He posts Instagram questions. Get on there, drop your questions. They'll be posting before WrestleMania. You can listen to it on Spotify, Anchor, all the good stuff. Apple Podcasts, that's how I do it. But
does anybody actually use Anchor?
I do.
Like, what is Anchor? Going on? This is not Anchor. I don't know what is Anchor. So
I started using it for Mangria, and I never used it after a while. I just went back to using Spotify.
When they changed their Still Real to whatever, and they were like, we're on Anchor now. I downloaded it because I didn't realize. I thought you had to have Anchor, and I was like, this app sucks. I can't understand. I couldn't figure it out, and then I realized it was just on Spotify and Apple Podcasts anyway. So I just stopped using it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not technically great.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. I'm 5 drinks in right now, so that's where I went.
All hail Jason Voorhees.